What if Naruto was adopted by John Winchester, Part 2? Sam was walking through a graveyard with a bouquet of flowers while Dean and Naruto were waiting in the car. He needed to do this alone. He stops in front of a fresh grave and starts apologising to Jessica, saying that he should have warned her about the type of work that him and his brothers do, and he should have been there to protect her. He kneels down and puts the flowers in front of the gravestone while crying, but a hand comes from the grave, grabbing Sam's arm. Sam wakes up to Naruto grabbing hold of his arm, waking him up, while Dean was happily singing along to AC/DC, probably Back in Black, something like that. Naruto asks Sam if he's alright, as he doesn't seem to get much sleep lately due to his nightmares. But Sam just shrugs it off, saying that he's fine and that he's just dealing with a lot. As you could probably tell, he's dealing with the death of his girlfriend. They pull into a diner to get something to eat. Sam gets his usual salad, Dean grabs a bacon cheeseburger, because Dean, and Naruto orders a bowl of noodles, as for some reason they were his favourite thing to eat. Dean pulls out John's journal and flips to the page with coordinates pointing towards the middle of nowhere. Naruto asks why their dad would have those, and in general, just why write them down. And Dean responds thinking that it may be a place to meet up away from any threats or monsters. Sam gets annoyed and asks why they always have to follow Dad's orders, and why does no one ever question it besides him. Naruto looks into his bowl, trying not to say anything, as Sam has reasons to be angry with the dad and has been through a lot lately. But Dean says that maybe their dad has some answers as to why this is happening again. They get back into the Impala, that sexy ass car, and head towards the meeting place and find themselves at a ranger station with people asking where their brother was and if they were actually doing anything to try and find him. The three Winchesters walk over, flashing badges, saying they were from animal control or some shit like that, and ask what happened. They explain that their brother is missing, and they were going to find him no matter what. They agree to help and get their stuff from the car, with Naruto grabbing his blades that slightly resembled kunai. After searching for a few hours, they notice some symbols carved into trees and get curious as to what they mean, with Naruto going completely pale as it dawns on him what they are. He tells his two brothers that they are warning signs. After his time trying to find out more about his magic, he came across some Native Americans who had shown symbols from their culture, and these symbols were used to ward off Wendigos. Wendigos, however you want to pronounce it. I call it Wendigo. It was getting late, so they had to make some form of camp, and the Winchesters carved these symbols into the dirt to keep the hikers and themselves safe. They sit down, and that's when Dean theorises that maybe Dad wants them to pick up where he left off, saving people, hunting things, their family business. Sam has his usual gripes about their dad not telling them straight up and always leaving some form of message, like he's God or something, working in mysterious ways. But Naruto tells them both to be quiet, as he could sense something watching them, something fast. He couldn't get an exact location as it kept moving, but he could tell that it was hunting them. He tells his brothers to get some sleep and he'll keep watch for the night. And when they start to protest, he reminds them that he's basically an early alarm system, as he can feel the very disturbing presence of this creature. Before they go to sleep, Dean gives Naruto John's journal to read up on Wendigos and any way to fight them. After a few hours, Naruto starts drifting off himself, as using his magic continuously to keep an eye on where it was quite draining for him. But unfortunately, he fell asleep, rolling out of the protective circle. The next morning, Dean is woken by Sam, who was shouting Naruto's name, and comes to find a small trail leading away from the campsite. Almost like something or someone was dragged away. Dean gets up quickly and grabs the journal, seeing that the way to kill a Wendigo is to thaw its heart. So they both grab flare guns and head after Naruto and the beast. Naruto wakes up, hung against the wall, and can't see much as he was in a very deep cave, but he could make out something walking very slowly through the halls, creepily slowly. He uses his magic to get a closer look at the creature through astral projection, and is nearly sick due to its horrendous look. He looks around and sees multiple human bones and mangled corpses everywhere, until he sees the person that they are looking for, and he is still alive, but only barely, as he is basically dying of starvation at this point. Naruto gives a sigh of relief, but panics as he sees the monster is walking straight towards him, very menacingly. Naruto struggles against his binding, but can't seem to get loose no matter what he does. But then he hears Sam and Dean shouting his name, and can see that the Wendigo has turned around and quickly has started hunting them. Angry at the thought that his family might be next, and it was his fault, basically luring them there, Naruto's eyes go red, and he uses all of his strength to rip himself off the wall and runs towards his brothers. He gets there just in time, as Dean had just fired his flare gun at the Wendigo and misses, with Sam just about to do the same thing before the Wendigo dodged the flare. Naruto used his magic to kind of rebound the flare back towards the creature's heart, shall I say, burning it and killing it once and for all. Dean and Sam check if Naruto is okay, as he was breathing very heavily and was on his knees due to the great toll that was taken on his body, just by his magic alone. But he points down the hallway, and Dean runs to cut down the man who was captured. They walk back to the camp, with Dean helping the man, while Sam holds up Naruto, asking how he was able to do that. Naruto smiled and said quietly that he had learned a lot about himself and his powers while Sam was at Stanford. Sam weakly smiled, and they get back to the camp, with the hikers reuniting with their brother. The Winchesters get back into the Impala, and Naruto was in the back of it, trying to get some rest. They talk about their dad, and that he must be getting close to finding the thing that killed their mother. After all, why send for them? And Sam says that once they find John and take out Mary's killer, he's done with hunting. Dean was about to protest, but Naruto kicked the back of his seat, hinting for Dean to shut up and that Sam must have his reasons. So Dean turns on the radio and they all drive, listening to Led Zeppelin. You can pick whatever song you like, to be fair. Only going to do the episodes, well, for this series, that are to do with the main plot, as if I did all of them, it would probably take years to finish this series, and I don't think, if I made a movie out of it, I think it'd probably be about 10, maybe 15 hours long. That's at a conservative estimate, if I did all the episodes anyway. And I'm also trying to keep things close to the actual events of Supernatural, but put a big twist on it by putting Naruto in, which, saying out loud, sounds crazy and really weird, but I hope you enjoy it and I hope you understand what I'm trying to do. Anyway, let me know what you think about this series and any improvements I can make, as it is quite a bit different than my other series that I'm doing. Subscribe and share if you want, and I'll see you later. Bye.